There is an interesting connection between agriculture and learning Swedish. And I know this concept from chemistry class in high school, so let me put the dots together. There was a German chemist, Justus von Liebig, he lived in the 19th century, and he discovered when he studied the growth of plants that usually, while a plant needs many, many different things to grow, there's always one thing that is stopping a plant from growing at any given time. So for example, you have a tomato plant in your garden and it's lacking sunlight, yeah, because you planted it behind a wall. You can put as much water or fertilizer or whatever else might be necessary as you wish, the plant will still not grow. You need to tear down the wall, you need to put more sunlight, otherwise it's not going to work. Yeah, it's like a little bit with this barrel where the water comes out from the lowest point, although the complete barrel is basically broken. And if you want to fix it, you have to fix it from the lowest point. It doesn't help to fix all the other parts because this will not change anything. The water will still come out at the lowest point. So that's where you have to start. And I believe when it comes to learning Swedish, it's very, very similar. We have many things that are overwhelming. We have grammar and pronunciation, and we're lacking time, and we need to study more vocabulary, and many, many different things. But usually it's just one thing that is holding us back at any given time. And I'd like you to ask yourself really, really honestly, what is that thing? What is this minimum factor that is actually holding you back? Why do I say, or why do I stress it so much that you should ask this question in an honest way? Well, because many times I hear students tell me something that supposedly holds them back. If you dig a little bit deeper, you find out that that's not really the thing that is holding them back, but it's a bit easier to say. So for example, many students tell me it's grammar. The grammar is so complicated, I need to study more grammar. Not so likely. Most likely, they should be working more on their pronunciation, or they should be working on their fear of speaking because they're scared of making grammar mistakes. It usually comes down to something like this. Yeah, if you're more interested in that, download my survival guide to Swedish grammar. It's free. It will explain this concept in a little bit more detail. Or I hear people say listening comprehension. Listening comprehension is the difficult thing. Okay, maybe, but it might also be a psychological thing, right? That you're just scared of not understanding, and then you have to ask, and it's humiliating that you didn't understand this word, and then the other person switches to English, and that's even more humiliating, and you don't want to feel these feelings, so therefore you say, it's listening comprehension. I need to listen to more Swedish before I can engage in a conversation in Swedish. Or people tell me it's time. I don't have time. When would I do that? But really, maybe it might be motivation that is lacking a little bit more, that you're just not making the time or finding the time that would be necessary for you to learn Swedish better. Could be. I'm not saying it's always like this, but it could be. Talent. Many people tell me, I don't have a talent for languages. I've never managed. Had Spanish in high school, didn't work. I can't say a single word in Spanish, can't even order a cappuccino. I hear that a lot, but when I ask a little bit deeper, when I dig a bit deeper and I tell them, so what have you been doing for learning Swedish? And then I find out, well, not much, played around a little bit on Duolingo. It's not talent, it's time. You just haven't put in enough time to study the language. Or sometimes I hear also motivation. People say, I'm not really motivated. Well, yeah, maybe, but motivation is sometimes overrated. If you manage to get more interesting material, for example, you might want to learn Swedish and the motivation would come by itself. Or it could be a habit that is lacking. When you just get into the habit of doing it, whether you're feeling motivated or not, you might just make progress even though the motivation is not really at a very good point. So that's what I invite you to do. Please dig a little bit deeper. Ask yourself, what do you think? What is your minimum factor? What is holding you back from making progress in Swedish right now? Let me know in the comments.